whatever you want to call it, this is something new. And so, verifiable digital scarcity is going to change. Distributed verifiable digital scarcity is going to change the world as far as I'm concerned. And so, and I was used to looking at how the world would change. I mean, that was kind of what I was trained in, right? When I was trying to find investments, I'm like, okay, well, this microprocessor thing, well, I heard about Moore's Law. I read about Moore's Law. I thought, gee, that's powerful. You mean to tell me these things get better every 2 years? They double their capacity? Oh my God, that's going to change the world, And so, I recall I was in the venture capital business, and they were investing in the bigger, older companies, mainframes, and so forth. And PC came out. I remember one of my bosses saying something along the lines of, what are you going to do with that thing? Who really needs it? It's just a glorified IBM Selectric. You can do you can do word processing.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, dude, you're a venture capitalist. Come on. Give me. He was older, but it's like, give me a break. Can't you see the potential here? It was amazing. I was in business school, and Mitch Kapoor came over, and he demoed something called Lotus 123, which most people won't know what that is.
Oh my God, I forgot about Lotus 123.
You remember?
Yes.
You got to be old like us to know this shit, right? Everyone who's using Excel today, Excel used to be Lotus.
I don't want to lead you, but I'll throw this out there. Is it the decentralization of it? Like, what is the difference between Bitcoin and gold, and that is giving you some more hope or interest in it?
Yeah, so it's a great question, Tom, and there's a lot of different, but so they're both, what they both represent in my mind are neutral reserve assets that solve Triffin's dilemma. And Triffin's dilemma is the issue that, the U.S. has the reserve currency, and therefore we had to print it and grow it, or else the world runs out of money. And so what they made a mistake at Bretton Woods. They should have picked the neutral reserve asset, which would have been gold. And gold is basically the old neutral reserve asset. It's analog sound money. Bitcoin is digital sound money. It's superior to it in every fashion because, and by the way, the reason the gold standard failed for two reasons. One, politics and the law. We went off it. We're not even on it anymore. So, but two, they also created a ton of paper gold, and they were really good at doing that. And that's hours long discussion unto itself. But, what Bitcoin offers is, and gold is heavy. It's hard to verify. There've been tungsten, bars, block size. The fees will go up, and because the block reward is going down, the fees will have to go up. At some point there will be no block reward, and it'll be just an entirely fee driven, currency. But that's okay because the layer above it can handle it, and that's really what's got to get built out, and it will. So.
I think it will. Just seeing things like the Aqua wallet now. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, no, that's a great one.
I love that wallet because it integrates Lightning right into Bitcoin, and it even labels it as like you're spending money, and your simple things, like the most simple thing kind of just changes your frame of reference. Okay, I just want to show you a chart. I think this was tweeted out by James Lavish a little while ago. I'm going to skip ahead. I'm going to come back to what I'm showing you here in a second. But this chart right here, I'm just interested in your opinion on it because and for anyone listening, James Lavish put out this tweet where he has a chart, looks like produced by the St. Louis Federal Reserve, where he has the US GDP line at the bottom and at the top. Sorry, Larry, I know it's not the biggest chart I'm showing you.
No, I get it. That's federal debt. Yeah, US federal debt. Yep.
Federal debt is the line at the top, and it's the line, in summary.
They're going to, to the degree that, okay, fine. We're running, our debt is collapsing and interest rates are going higher, but we can't have that. We'll just go in there and we'll bid for our bonds. Well, what money are you going to use to bid for it with? Well, new money that we printed. And so the money supply will grow, enormously. And you can see that. You saw that in COVID. M2 and COVID went up, 40+% in a 2-year time frame. It's hilarious. Elizabeth Warren recently tweeted that it was the greedy corporations that were causing the inflation with all their price gouging. And that's just she's either stupid or lying or both. Because that's not the case. The greedy corporations have always existed, and I don't think they're particularly greedy. They're just business people. But what's going on is the huge record-breaking increase in the money supply and that occurred during the COVID event is what led to the inflation. So, and by the way, Tom, I think the next one is going to be bigger. And that's one of the things you've seen. They've gotten closer together and they've gotten larger. We kind of had one in 2000. Okay, they cut rates. They got the housing bubble going. We had one in 2008. Nope, new stuff. They're QE. That's quite hard.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with Foss and dropping down.
I like it when you two are hanging out. I like it when
yeah, right. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm going to put this up. So Michael Saylor put this. I'm sure you've seen this. I wish I could get.
This is in the book. This is a fabulous book.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And I wish I could give credit to who put this together, because I know it's somebody.
Jesse Myers from Croesus BTC.
Thank you.
He's on Bitcoin.
Thank you.
This is a new one because he's got the gold number updated. Wow, that's nice.
Okay, so then Saylor has this in one of his presentations recently that he gave, and then he said, okay, in 21 years or so, by the year 2045, here's how it looks. And everything's grown at different paces. Bonds, are higher nominally, but grew at a slower pace than, for example, real estate and equities. But then you see Bitcoin that went from 1 trillion or so to 280. And I think when I look at this gives me such incredible hope for everyone. How, to you, when you see this, is this absolutely ridiculous to you, or is this in the realm of possibility?
This makes total sense to me. Have you done there and that sort of a thing? Those are very, very valuable businesses, and in the book I show this. Some of these. There aren't many investments in the world that have returned 2,000 times their initial cost in less than 25 years. And yet there are businesses like that in the networking business. Amazon is one, Facebook is another one. Google is another one. And so when you have a business or a thing that's a network where the value and the Metcalfe's law applies, the value grows at the square of the number of users. And, look, who's going to use another search engine other than Google? Everyone goes to Google and everyone uses Google, and therefore people join Google, and it becomes a flywheel that you cannot stop. And that's what's going to happen with Bitcoin. It is a network, and its value grows with every additional user, with every additional transaction, and it becomes more and more the numeraire. And so, as you point out, you and I can see it and believe in it, and I think others are coming to see it. And look, it's very encouraging. You've got TradFi guys who had every reason to hate it, like Larry Fink, who I don't particularly. As you say, it's all about efficiency, and yes, AI and deflation, all the things that you're talking about are what increase that efficiency. And that's what we should be aiming for. And these Keynesians are they're
morons. I'll say, because you're being nice now. Your wife said you have to be nice, so I'm going to take the role. They're morons.
They are. That's pretty much right. And but they bought the economics profession. They bought the press. Yeah. They bought everybody. And if I'm just, as I write the book, I'm going back and I'm reviewing some of Ron Paul's testimony in front of Congress. Bernanke was belittling him, and it's disgusting.
Yes.
It's absolutely disgusting the way these Keynesians think they've got it right, and they don't. They're dead ass wrong. So, the beautiful thing is it's not necessarily going to end well for them. And let me just offer a book recommendation. I don't know if you've read it yet, but have you read The Mandibles yet?
I love it.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't end well for Lowell.
No.
The Keynesian professor, economics professor at Georgetown. Look, a dystopian.
And imagine that book had Bitcoin in it.
To answer your question, 2035, yes. I think there'll be probably two competing neutral reserve assets, gold and Bitcoin, with gold on the way out and Bitcoin on the way up. And I think the dollar will be a transaction medium, if not gone, by 2035. I kind of place the end of this whole experiment at the 2030, 2031 or 2 area. If you kind of look at fourth turnings, this fourth turning is clearly about what is money. I give Robert Breedlove credit for that, coming up with that notion. And we're going to decide what money really is. And money was the PhD standard since the Fed has been created, and that's about to die. The PhD standard ain't going to work anymore. And so money is going to become, for a while, gold and Bitcoin will coexist. And then eventually Bitcoin, I think, will supplant gold. That's kind of how world that we're all working towards. I think it's going to be a shitty, there's going to be some rough stuff in this transition, but I think we will get through it. And the first turning is generally a very wonderful time when there's a lot of hope. And there are a lot of things in the world to be hopeful for. One of the great things, we talked about technology is going to save us. It's not just Bitcoin. Bitcoin will save us. It'll be sound money, but the internet's going to save us. Look at the way that Joe Rogan and a Tucker Carlson and other people are breaking down the traditional establishment bullshit narrative. You know what I mean? And look at the way that we can do podcasts like this, and people who tell the truth can get on and spread the truth to other people. And, I mean, look, people understand. I mean, if, you can't piss on their leg and say it's raining. I mean, people get it. And so this technology is, in my view, going to save us, because it's going to take us back to a more truth-based system. And these big, sclerotic, corrupt organizations